right, welcome to New Jersey. Welcome to suburban Jersey during quarantine. We've been in the house for how long?
2 weeks.
We've been in the house for 2 weeks. No haircuts, no shaving, and trying to keep ourselves busy. But we had a couple nice days, so we're able to start cleaning up the yard very early. Nowhere near where it needs to be, but while we have the time home, Aiden and I are going to be building 2 L-shaped planters because we're going to move our vegetable garden from where it currently is in the middle of our yard to an area over here that we have space where our trampoline used to be. What are we going to plant?
We're going to plant some vegetables.
Yeah, vegetables. We want some more vegetables. We love planting fresh vegetables, so we'll have our gardens. They'll be raised beds so we don't have to bend down so much. And we're going to show you how we're doing it. That'll be the outside walls of that one. So we're just laying out where we're going to put these because we don't know exactly how big they are, and how it's going to look.
Of course, I love having my son's help when I do these projects, getting his input and hearing some of the funny things that come out of his mouth. But it's the time spent is really the goal here. And busting chops and cracking on each other, and making mistakes and figuring it out together. The point's really not the project. The point is the time well spent with family members and maybe learning a thing or two as we go. My hope is that he realizes how smart his dad is. But if you saw the number of mistakes, you probably have to ask him that. We got through it, and I'll explain in a second how we figured something out that made this a bit easier after he organized everything for us.
Next one. Look at those nails, bud. Ain't those quarantine nails? Look at those quarantine nails. Yeah. All right, so the important thing here, and the mistake that we made that you saw us taking things apart, was if you look here, look from above. You see how this meets up pretty well right here. If you flip this around, it will be out here, and you'll struggle with the screws and the bolts, the nuts and the bolts. Make sure your panels are turned the right way so that you get a flat seal here, and then these go in very simply because they line up. If I could do it, they line up just like that. That's how it's supposed to be. If you're struggling because the bolts are too short, that means you have the panel turned the wrong way. All right, let's get back to work.
I'll put a link in the description of the video that we did a few years ago. Basically, seed planting on the cheap. But this year we decided to use these peat pods that grow when you add water, and just throw your seed in there. Comes with a base and a cover, and you can keep adding water as you go. And the cover really kind of helped to keep that moisture and that warmth in. And you can see we're successful in getting these plants to grow. These plants will eventually go out in the garden, and we'll plant those. You'll see some of those results later on in the video, but feel free to click on the link below to purchase that tray off Amazon, and it helps the channel. Now on to our chicken coop to hutch conversion. The video you see here is back in 2017 for Father's Day. I received this coop from my wife and kids. Big enough for a couple chickens, and if the chickens stay small, they got plenty of room there. My friend Mike came over. I've mentioned Mike before in previous videos. Loves digging holes, but he also likes building chicken coops, and he helped me out with this one, so I appreciate it. And we're going to convert that. You can see eventually here we expanded and got bigger and bigger, but it got weathered and beat up by the sun, so we decided to reuse it as a bunny hutch for my daughter's new addition to the family, Willow the bunny. So first put together this base using some leftover materials from the above ground pool deck. You can see that video under this playlist. And we used what cuttings we had left to make this base for the bunny, just in case it gets scratched and kind of beat up a little bit. And also added some screen in the other section so the droppings and other things would fall through. And it really worked out well. But you'll see here in a minute as we place the old chicken coop rehab to a bunny hutch up on that platform and make use of it. Also made use of some extra roofing that I had left over from some of our other projects, including a shed, so everything matches well. And to get ready for stain, my kids are here washing the windows and vacuuming out the inside, getting it ready to finish the conversion. And now it's on to the raised planting beds. No real big design here. Basically created 2 rectangles using 2x4s, capped on the ends, and then used 4x4s for support. You see in the corners that I got a little fancy with the 4x4s by taking 1/4 of the 4x4 out using a circular saw long ways, but that wasn't necessary. And then to kind of keep the outward pressure to a minimum, I added 3 4x4s on each side, just to make sure we didn't have too much outward movement once it was filled with all the debris. We filled this with basic debris from the yard, some old stumps that I had, a bunch of branches. I kept all that stuff in a big pile and wound up filling the bottom up. So when it was time to fill with soil, we didn't have to use so much soil. And there's my wife doing the finishing touches as far as stain. We later came back with those sheet metal roofing pieces that you see. Just placed them on the interior on all 4 sides and filled with the debris and the dirt. And the planting bed was ready. And once the planting bed was stained, my wife and daughter moved on to the former chicken coop, now Bunny Hutch, and finished that with a coat of stain to make it look really nice. And my daughter, the artistic one, added a nice finishing touch at the end. That's one happy bunny. So metal planters done. Coop to hutch conversion done, and the raised beds are done. The only thing left is to wait till after the last frost to bring those plants from inside outside and put those plantings in. You know, with starting a garden for a few years now, we never have enough room and we're always expanding. Zucchini plants get enormous. So if you think you need a certain amount of room, triple it. And here's some of the results and fruits of the labor. Thanks for watching. We hope you'll like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw them down below. Shaped planters. We're going to be moving our vegetable garden from the other part of the yard. I wish we had that on tape. The dog's going to the bathroom.